This conference will now be recorded.
The case class. What is this? And why do we need case classes? And all that, we had a background in the last session, right? Again, I'll just quickly explain why it is necessary. One important thing about case class is, we use it in many situations, like to implement pattern matching. Even there, to match objects, we use these case classes. Okay, that is one of the beautiful choice for us. And apart from that, if you go to Spark, because we are learning Scala, to implement that it in Spark. That is actually our goal. But independently, this language also might be useful, because I have when I was no trying to shift the company, there are companies which exclusively asked for Scala. I still remember people asking me, "Will you work on exclusive Scala also?" So in that way, if you are really good with Scala, still there are opportunities only on Scala as well. So anyhow, but now the point is how we can implement this in Spark. That is the point. There is a use case we have discussed just in the last class. Like in Spark, the major data structures are RDDs and data frames and data sets. If you go and look into Spark, you find a couple of topics, 4 or 5 topics. If you master those 4 or 5 topics, rest of the stuff is Scala. I told this number of times to you. And in that, RDD is the very basic data structure of Scala. So sorry, structure of Spark. So Spark uses RDDs as the underlying data structure. Okay, and then sometimes the problem with RDDs is it doesn't have a structure. You will get more details when we move the Spark. I will explain there. Now I don't want to get into that deeper this thing, but I'm just giving you an idea like how case classes might be useful in Spark. Now Spark doesn't have a this RDD doesn't have a structure. Now I want to provide a structure to the RDD. One best choice is case classes. So to convert an RDD from in structured form or unstructured form, it doesn't have a structure, from unstructured form to a structured form, data frame. Data frame is more or less like a table. Then case classes plays a phenomenal role here. That is even in data sets also this case classes are very useful. So the purpose of case classes there, one of the very important purpose is to provide a structure to a data in Spark. Best example is converting RDDs to data frames. Got it right? So that's how it is useful here. So that's the point here. So that is a simple idea. Even I have walked through the code in the last session, like the importance, just to show the importance. But leave about it. Anyhow, we'll talk more on these use cases one more time in a detailed discussion. We'll do a lot of workarounds as well. So nothing to worry. Now, more than this document, I'm not 100% happy with this document. I need something more for you. So we'll go to the official documentation. So this is official document. So what I need from here is a case class. So we can search it. I told you, right? Anyone who prepares websites or materials, they come from here only, official document. So what is a case class here? And means it's a simple, as name says, class means definitely it is like a regular class, but it might have some differences. What is that? It will use it when you look at the structure itself, we get some idea. It is used to define a class which is used for what is that? Declaring some attributes. It will have some default constructor, some parameterized constructor here, and the way we declare it like this, it will take class keyword and then it will take class name, by default a parameterized constructor, and then a case keyword here. This looks like this. So there are a couple of things we need to talk here when we talk about case classes. First thing is so like any other class, this is like a regular class. By default they are immutable. Immutable means we cannot change it, very well, because you have very good practice with val keyword. When you put something with val, you cannot modify it. And such objects we call it as immutable. Most of you know this. Even when you declare a case class, by default these objects will become immutable. Okay, and decomposable. Decomposable means you cannot override the data of such objects. That's called decomposable. And also, we implement this very much in pattern matching. So we'll see that. We don't need to worry too much. Now the point is, how do you declare it? You know the syntax of a class. Generally, we declare a class like this. How do you declare it? Some class place. That is a keyword. You don't have a control on that. It has to be used as it is. Class name. You know how to declare a parameterized constructor, right? Something like var1 colon some data type, comma var2 colon some data type, comma dot dot dot, like this. You get this right. So this is a normal case. You know one thing, in Scala, this is very important. If you don't put body for a class, still we don't have a problem. Still it works in Scala. But in Java, we cannot have a class without body. Body is must. You can have empty class, but you cannot leave it like that. We can have empty file also, but we cannot have a class without body in Java. But in Scala, we can have a class without body. Got it right? Still, normal class or case class, whatever it is. Now I am talking about normal class. We can have a normal class without body. We can have a normal class with body. Anything is possible. Now this is looks like normal class, but before this I put this keyword case, and this becomes a case class. The difference here is simple between a normal class and a case class. We use the case keyword here in a case class. That is common sense. When you get the class itself, everybody understands. Okay, there is case keyword before that, then it becomes a case class. That is common sense. That we don't need to have intelligence for that. And other stuff, I'm sure, because all of you know you have done a rigorous practicing so far. For you, just declaring for you declaring a class or implementing constructors methods, or at least to some level of logics right now, I think you are robust at that levels. I mean very strong. I'm confident about you more than what is that, more than you have your confidence, means I am more confident on you. That is my point. So you all of you know how to declare a class. What do you do? Just put case before that. Anyhow, looking at that, you get that point. Then what is the difference between normal class and case class? Very few differences. One, we don't use it wherever, every time we don't go for case classes. If that is the case, we don't need normal classes or regular classes. This has some special purpose. What is that? Usually, the best example I told you. Case classes are very much useful in providing a structured data, usually from converting unstructured data to structured data. Case classes are very much useful there. Also, if you want to do some comparison of data, it is very much useful in pattern matching. Okay, if you want to compare objects or the data of objects or the structure of two objects, better use case class than any other classes. You got my points right? So one thing, I am writing all these points here. So one thing, this is clear, right? Seconds, let us understand few things. First thing, why do we need case classes? It is very much useful when it is useful to convert an unstructured data. You know about all this. We have got this introduction in the big data, this thing, an unstructured data to structured form. Okay, very much useful actually to convert unstructured data to structured. That is one thing. 1 minute, guys. My lead is pinging me. Okay, sorry guys, I need to give some update. Okay guys, so now that is one use case, one of the best use case. Second thing, second useful. These case classes are very much useful. Okay, case class is very much useful when useful to compare data. Useful in comparing data, that is in pattern matching. We'll see with examples. We don't need to just look at that. So our approach is we try to implement with the practical examples with pattern matching. There is a typo here, MATCH, right? Third one, we can compare structure of two objects. We can compare structure of two objects with the case class because it has method like equal method, which helps us to compare the structure directly, whether two objects have same data or not. That is one of the very useful scenario with case classes. Okay, we can compare structure of two objects with case class. Okay, there might be few more uses with case class, but no, these are the most important use cases. So far, with my observation, I found these are most important. But anyhow, in the process, we might come figure out some more uses with case classes because we don't just leave it like that. That's not our habit. Okay, so that's it. You can see here. One thing is another points about case classes, as just I told you, right? It is used to compare structure of two objects. For that, it internally uses something called equal method. We'll talk about it. And also, like you remember something, right? Like companion. Even to construct a case class, I mean the object for case class, we don't need to use new keyword. What is that? No need of new keyword with the case classes. You get my point. So this is simple idea about case class. Do you understand these things first? This, this 1 minute. If you look at this first point, we will work out this in Spark. When we go to the Spark, while dealing with data frames, definitely we work out this first point. I will tell you where we use which one. We can do pattern matching now. That is possible now. We can do comparison of two objects. That structural comparison of two objects. We can do that now itself. Now in sense means today or tomorrow. If that program comes today, we'll do it today itself. Or tomorrow. I mean on Monday otherwise. Got it right? That is idea about this. What is that, gentlemen? This case classes. Got some idea now? Let us quickly conclude how case classes are useful for us. Definitely, case classes is nothing but an immutable object. That is one thing. Second thing, it is similar to a regular class, but we declare it with a keyword case. Third thing, it is very much useful to convert an unstructured data to structured data in our Spark program. And fourth thing, it is very useful in pattern matching to compare data. Or pattern matching means we have done with option also in the last session. That is very even case class is also useful in the same way. And also it is useful fifth one, 0.5. We can structurally compare data with the case classes. Got it right? And for that it uses method called as a equals method. We will see that with examples. Okay. And also another important point is it doesn't use new keyword. These things are clear, right? So as Madhu and some of you requested, I'm copying this notes and pasting for you so that. And one more important point, let's quickly discuss this. We had, if you see here, the case class, this is an example, and we have some parameters. Assuming, because all of you know these things, I have declared two parameters here. I have a question. for all of you, before I explain this, I have a question. Let's remove this case here. So this is a parameterized construct. It has two parameters. It has two parameters, correct? Now you tell me what is the visibility of these parameters. Now we had a discussion when I had explained about constructors. I took to you to the Scala prompt, and I have shown you if it is declared with var keyword, what happens, val keyword, what happens. And if you don't declare val or var with these keywords here, declaring var like this or declaring val like this, or if you don't declare like this, we had a very detailed discussion. Now I have a question for all of you. What is it? If I declare like this for a regular class, what is the scope of this or visibility of these variables? Is it public, private, protected, default? Nothing. Actually, we don't have default in Scala. Is it public, private, protected? What is it? If it is a class, what is it? If it is case class, anyhow, you are able to see this. And all of you are working people. By looking at the statement, you can easily understand. Okay, the parameters of case classes are public and immutable. For you, this is not difficult to understand at all. I am very much confident. If it is a fresher or a beginner, they might wait till I explain. That is fine. It is concluded. Case class has all the parameters. By default, the parameters of case classes are public and immutable. Means that is one thing. Now, if I don't use case here, what is the visibility of these parameters? That is my question. What is your answer? Public. In a class, I am asking in a class, not in a case class. If it is a regular class, what is the visibility? What is it? So everybody is saying public, but we have a very detailed discussion. So then I should just open what? Our Eclipse once, just to prove that whether it is public or not. So meanwhile, I'll copy and paste these notes. Yeah, once we finish these sessions, I will put it in the GitHub so that you can download it. It will be available for the whole notes will be available. But for now, for your satisfaction and your pairing of notes, I'm just putting in the chart box. So now, try to start. Already we have one here. Just let us prove this point here, because I'm a little skeptical. Means I'm a little doubtful whether suppose I take a class like this, then I take a colon something. One variable is enough to test that. Okay, my class is declared. I don't need a body now. I will test that here itself directly. Okay. So now I create an object val space sum x equal to new a. For this I should pass one parameter just to show the difference between the object of
These are the local variables, right? In that case.
Yeah, that is correct. I agree. But by default they have a visibility, right? I have explained that. I have explained that in constructors topic. You remember, right? So now the visibility, there will be visibility for these variables as well, Madhu. Got it right? But anyhow, we'll just check on that. Not an issue. Something like 10 here. And now just saying, maybe if it is local, we get a clear idea here itself. What is that? X dot. When you say x dot, you are not able to see anything. But I'll do one thing. I'll declare this as a var here. But I say x dot. But now you are able to see the variable here. Can you see it now? Can you see the difference? I just want to show this to you because I know when we had discussed that behavior of these parameters, constructor parameters, we have discussed like how these setters and getters are created. What will be the visibility of these variables with constructor? You got it right. So what is that? Are they private? Are they public? Are they protected? Usually, if you put it as var, it is a public variable, no doubt, because I can access it here. Can you see this now? I'm able to access it, something like this. I'll just show you println of x dot. So now, 1 minute. I see some error. A is already defined, no issues. I'll put it as a B, not a problem. A is there. Let's make it to B. The point is just to show you. Then this time our problem is solved. And when I put var here, it became public. And it has setter and getter because this is treated as what? This is treated as a, it's like, variables. Like, when you create a POSO, there is something called POSO in Java, plain old Java object. First, we declare private variables and then we create setters and getters. Okay, that's how we define POSO. But here, leave over that POSO topic. If you want, I will explain in the next session. I thought to even talk about that. We will take it as for one session, that topic. So now here, but this is not difficult to understand. If I put var here, I'm able to access it. Let me run it. You can see 10 here. We will analyze whether it is local or not non-local, Madhu. We will get to that point, okay? But I know I understand your point. If it is local, how can we access local variables outside a method? Because this is a constructor. That is your thought process. I got it. If I'm not wrong, because see, but now point is, if you declare them as very var with var, they becomes what? Public. So I am able to access it outside. Suppose remove var, these variables become what? They becomes private.
Private
So
way.
that's why I am not able to access it. When I just remove that var, immediately you can see an error. They become private. Suppose I put val, still, what is that? Still we can access that variable here. Val is also public, but it is immutable. What is it? It is immutable. Immutable means you can have only getter, you don't have setter, you cannot modify this value. So even it is public. If you declare with val or var, this becomes what, gentlemen? This becomes a public variable. If I don't use any modifier means declaring with var, val, they are called modifiers, public, private, like that. Okay. So it becomes private now. You got it right. So by default, now why we got this point is, I have asked you a question. We had a discussion about this also some time back when we are discussing constructors. But of course, see, with our busy schedules, it's very difficult. I understand. So when you look at this here, when you look at here, this class here, normal class, what is this visibility of these variables here? What is the visibility of variables here? Now you tell me, guys. Do you understand, right? All of you got clarity? All of you are clear, or Bharat, or Srikant, Suresh, Veera, Vinod?
It's clear, and these are private variables.
Sure, that's fine then. But if I declare it as case, then tell me what is the visibility of these variables now? It's clearly saying it's in front of your eyes itself, isn't it? They are public and immutable. So suppose if it is a class, here, then the scope visibility of them is they are private, and then are they mutable or immutable? Can we modify in the same class or not? That is the question. They are private. If it is a class, maybe if you want to cross check, you can do one thing. Maybe if you need to get all this detailing. That is very important, guys. Set a equal to 10 here. Okay, and then try to print it. Let's see this now. This is a constructor. We don't need to worry about it. Okay. Can you see here now? By default, this is treated as what? Immutable. What is it? By default, it is treated as a immutable implicitly. But explicitly, if you declare val, okay. I'm sorry, not immutable. So you cannot modify it. That is one thing. Okay, fine. Let me try to print it. I just want to know the scope now. What is scope? Default is private, and when I print it, what happens now? Just run it. Don't try to access it outside, as it is private and immutable. What is it here now? If it is private and immutable, that's what the scope for a regular class. I want to conclude that point. If it is a normal class, just make a note of it. Because you need to be clear on these terms here. If it is a normal class, what is it? If it is a case class, the parameters of case class are public and immutable. If it is a normal class, the parameters are what are these parameters? They are private and immutable. Hence proved here. What is that? If I try to modify here, I got an error, and it is not allowing me to change. Means it is immutable and it is private. Now you got clarity. What is that? These variables by default, if you don't use any modifier val or var, then they become private and immutable. So that is the point here. We can conclude it now. Finally here, for a normal class, what is it? By default, the parameters are normal class constructor. Maybe let me be more clear. Our primary, for a normal class, primary constructor. Okay. By default, the parameters are, what is that, gentlemen? Private and immutable. Got it right? So that's it, guys. Is that point clear for all of you? Not private and mutable, private and immutable. Can you see? Am I able to modify it? I'm seeing mutable here. We know where am I able to modify this? This A. Am I able to change this? Internally, can I change it? Suppose you declare it as var. Okay. Now you can see that if I declare as var, then I don't have an error. Now you try to print it now. You get 10. Means what? This is mutable. You can able to change it. You can modify it. That's what called mutability. Suppose if I remove this var now, what's happening now? Do I get error here, right? So if it is error here, means what? It is immutable. I am not able to modify that parameter here. You get my point? Harish, Veera, is that point clear? Mutable means it can be modified. Immutable means it cannot be modified. Here, you see, this is a practical proof. I am not giving any theoretical thing. Okay, we are not talking on air here. We are seeing with code here, and they try to modify this A here. It's giving me left and right here. You are able to see that. Means what? You know this is private by now, and I tried to modify it. It didn't allow even within the class also. Means this is immutable. Because if you put cursor on that, it is clearly saying what is it? It is showing val in front of it. If it is showing val means what? Val means what? It is immutable, not mutable. Don't get confused. Var means mutable, val means immutable. VAL val. Do you get my point now? So finally, conclusion is what? By default, if you look at a class like this, what is it? It is these parameters are private and immutable. Shall I repeat it one more time? I don't think I don't need to. By now you would be clear with that. Suppose I'm giving another small, just to get more clarity, that's all. Case class, something like case class. Let us take the same example as the above one. Now if it is the case class, we have to, how many other parameters you want, you can define it, sir. It's up to you. This time you tell me These parameters are by default what? All these are, if it is a case class, if it is normal class, we know very well. If it is a case class, what is it? Tell me. What is this visibility of these parameters and what is the accessibility of these parameters? Means can we modify them or not? Tell me. It's very clearly saying it. They are public. These parameters are public and immutable. True. Let us test it now. Let us take a small example. So we'll just take a small case class. After doing so many problems with classes, case class is like a jujube for all of you, if I am not wrong. Just to, kidding. It's very simple. Something like case class, you put as you like, sir. Some A, B, okay, as you like. I put B only, sir. Comma B colon int. Okay. Again, I am telling you, sir, I am more confident on your skills now than your confidence on you, because first thing, your regularity tells like your interest towards that subject. A second thing, you have done enough practice to understand things, and third thing, more than all of this, you people are experts in your own fields, no doubt about that. So in that way, this is nothing for you. If you look at this, sir, see what is it? This is a simple case class. Now let us prove it. See, if you start thinking in this way, sir, automatically you can automatically understand what's happening in the background. Background in sense, some people implement APIs. This code have some connection with the API. To understand that, many people only just understand only the front end. They don't have a clear idea about what's happening in the background. But if you can go and peek into that level, definitely you are going to be having upper hand in that technology. So now these parameters are public and immutable. How you are going to test it? Tell me. How do you prove it? Just prove it, sir. How do you prove it? It is public and immutable. First, you create an object, sir, and we have a discussion. Case class will be declared with case keyword, and we also had a clear understanding that these parameters are public and immutable. Means, sir, by default they are public here. Third thing, so while creating case class object, something like var b equal to, tell me, sir, do I need to use this new keyword with case class? Is it necessary? No, we don't need it. Correct? Because if you don't need new means, definitely you can assume a kind of companion concept is implemented in the background, if I am not wrong. What is it? What is implemented there? A kind of a companion concept. Okay. So just pass to values, sir, and comment. Now what do you do right now? Save it. This is our case class object. Just suppose if I can access this A and B in this test, in this singleton object, then they are public. If we are not able to access them here, then they are what, sir? They are private. Let's just try to print them. Println of b dot a, and then println of b dot b. Okay, now run this. We are able to access it without any stopping. Got it? Now let's modify these values and see if we can reset these variables with some other values in the constructor itself, in this primary constructor. Right? This is by default a primary constructor. So now I try to change this to some 20, and I change this to some 30. Anyhow, by now we are seeing the impact. We see that red here means what? We are doing something wrong. So means what? We cannot modify immutable variables. So this is a proof that these members are public and these variables are immutable. Got it, right? That is another important thing about case class, sir. So what do you do then? You can just directly use them, sir. If you want to create anything inside this, just you can do some logic, or you can print it, or do whatever it is, sir. But actually, we don't use this case class like this, sir, to implement some logic processing or to implement some printing or like that. Usually we create objects with case classes to do that comparisons or to provide some structure to data, okay, or to do some pattern matching thing for that. But anyhow, as we are just in the very beginning stage, we are just trying to understand it in a little simpler way. Okay, but anyhow, let us print it now. We got the data, means we can access data within the class, within the case class, outside case class, because the members are public, but we cannot modify them because they are immutable. That's it, sir. So what you do is, let us test this simple example, sir. Even you can test that also, not an issue, sir. Why don't you test this small example, sir? All of you quickly test it. Define yourself. This is only for our understanding, that's all. But actually, we don't need the body for this now. No need of body. Just take a case class like this with parameters and then set data and try to access the data in the singleton object and print them. This is a small application, nursery application. Please test it. Just once you are done, just tell me. Just confirm, then we will move to the next. And I am also giving you the code also, just for fairing your notes. Of course, you write a code as well, but still to make sure. Okay. Still, we are not going to pattern matching now itself. Let's get a better understanding of case class. This is simple. We have already done pattern matching with option. If you know clearly, if you understood how to deal option, pattern matching concept is similar for case class. Okay, but before that, there are few more things we need to add to this document. Is it done, sir? All of you? It's a simple code, that's all. There is nothing difficult in that. Finish it, sir. Test it and come, and we will just okay. Now I'm going to the official doc. I want to add few more things to you. By looking at all this, all of you can understand what is there here. Usually, case classes are good for modeling immutable data. If you don't want the data of an object or data inside object to be modified, okay, or if you don't want to keep changing the objects, so in such case, definitely case classes are best fit for us. Okay, one thing, and you know how to define it. Case and class are two keywords we need to use, and parameters anyhow. You have that idea. Now, usually what is that? When you create a case class with parameters, the parameters are public. Okay, you can also, what is that? One thing, default is they are public and they are immutable. That's what they are saying. The parameters are public and val. Val means when you know, right? When you declare a variable with val, means they are immutable of data. You don't change that such data, okay, such variables. That's what they were saying. Anyhow, that's fine. And they were saying you cannot reassign. This story is known to you. You will feel bored. Now this is important, sir. Next comparison. You do one thing, sir. By taking this as reference, you can see here. We can compare. You can see instance of case classes are compared by structure and not by reference. This is another important point. You need to get into the shoe of this point. What is that? We don't compare with the reference, but what they were saying, we compare with the structure. What is it? Suppose you can see here, we created a case class object and we created a message to an object with the some 3 parameters, sender, recipient, and body. You can create your own data. That is not a big issue. And for message 3, one more object you have created with message 3, and you have here what? Again, you have here the same data. You can see you can initialize different data also. Now you are doing this structural comparison, means whether 2 objects have same data or not. Okay, you cannot compare data directly. Usually, if you with a normal object, if you take a normal object, it just only try to compare the address of 2 objects. What it does, it try to compare the address of 2. I will show this. We will go a workaround for that. Right? Let us do a small workaround. So let's make a note of it first of all. I'm just pairing it, adding few more things. How do we go for structural comparison? This program is so simple, sir. There is nothing difficulty here. You can continue with this example itself. Now, when you look at the document, they might have given some message. You can continue with this also. You don't need something else. You create 2 objects for B here, sir. You create 2 objects for B, just for quick understanding. One object is B1, another object is with B2. Okay, you put same data, different data, it's up. Now, what I am doing is, or what we are doing is, we are going to compare we do the structural comparison. What comparison, sir? Structural means it will compare whether the data inside data, not the references. Usually, reference variables hold address. All of you know that we have discussed this point number of times. But you see here, sir, this is very important observation. But println of, you see here, B1 equal to double equal. You use double equal, sir. B2. Usually here reference comparison happens. What comparison, sir? Usually, I use the word usually, not here, not in general cases, a reference comparison happens. But here it is not reference comparison, sir. What is it? It is doing structural comparison, whether every data inside B object and this object are same or not. You got it right? So that's what it does here. So now, when you try to run it, is this data same or different, sir? Just run it now. B1, B2. Just run it. True. Suppose you give some 30 here, sir, instead of 20, give 30. You know the answer, it's false. Now we have 2 different objects. We are comparing them with what? With this. With this, sir? Equal method, this equal operator, otherwise instead of method, this is an operator. Okay, and what it is doing, it is doing a structural comparison of these 2 objects. Got it right, sir? That's what is doing. That's what this is doing here. And this is one of the very important thing about case class. You want to say that the data of 2 objects are same, just make it as a case class and then you can compare it directly without any hesitation. Of course, we can write a lot of customized code for this also, but this is one of the best use case for a case class. So what do you do right now, sir? Just make a quick note of it, sir. So here, that's what this is all about. If you want, you can initialize that result also. Suppose if you want that to preserve that result, val some bool equal. Bool in sense boolean. I mean it's boolean. You can test it like this, and then you can just say this is all a kit level kind of testing only, sir. This is not at our level. Okay, objects are same. When it is same, if bool, if it is true, objects are same. Else what, sir? Else just take a print statement. Objects are different. I'm just adding a quick validation because this is what you do in a real use case. You just don't leave it like that. After seeing that if data is same, we do something on that. Okay, that's all. Now just run it. By looking at the objects, we can conclude that they are not same. We get that. It should get. I just put it as not here. Okay, just run it. Objects are not same. You can see the output. Suppose if both objects have same data, then what it is say? objects are same. You get this now? What this operator here doing on case classes? What this operator is doing, sir? Now finally the conclusion. What equal operator is doing on case class? Is it comparing data of object? Is it comparing data of object? Is it comparing address of these two objects? That is my question. Is it comparing address or data? It's comparing data. Structural comparison means that is the meaning. Okay. So you test it, sir. You test this. One of the very useful use case of a case class. And here they were saying very useful, no, a very wonderful point here. Can you see this? Instance of case classes are compared by structure, not by reference. Not by reference. Then you ask me a question. What is this not by reference, sir? Now we have discussed comparing two case class objects. So that is clear to us, sir. But now, what is this not by reference? You might be wondering. We will see that use case also. What is that comparison by reference? We will check that also, sir. What do you say? First test it, then we go for the other part also. Okay, that's what we do, right? If you take one statement, we will just do workaround for all the things in that statement. That's how we keep doing things, right? So now we have done workaround for the first part, comparing by structure. What is that not by reference? We will get an idea. So first test this one, sir. And also I am copying and pasting it in the chart. So I put it in the chart for your notes fairing. Those who still Madhu is thinking, I know that variable in that parameterized constructor, is it a local variable or is it some instance? If it is local variable, how it is accessed in the singleton object? Madhu, you are thinking that, I know. We will discuss. So is it clear for all of you guys? Are you good, right? I got some understanding about case class, right? How about others, sir? Yeah. Still, there is so much of this on this, no, on this case class. Today we'll stop here, sir. Actually, today also I am in a working session. We have an issue. We need to create some. There is something called. This is a new technology, which what we call Python. It's a graph database, and we are working with some querying there, and we are not able to create some edge, what we call. So, got it right? So that's why we are facing an issue there. I'm just telling you know, so that you are also into, you'll be into some big data thing. So graph technology is also one more area where nowadays people are using. Usually, you know, when we are dealing with huge volumes of data to handle this load, graph databases are very much useful actually. So anyhow, I'm not going too much into that. We are facing an issue there with while creating some edges. So we are looking into that actually. So the latest graph database we are working in big data is the Janus graph. Okay, but this is about this case class is this, sir. We didn't still you know, finish this. We have much more to discuss. In the next class, I will show you about reference part also. We can discuss, but I need to get into that issue now. So then also after that, again, one more use case is there from the official copying thing is there. Okay, that also we are going to see. Once after seeing that, this whole case class thing is over here, then we will take up pattern matching with case classes, another example. That will end the temporary journey with case class. Again, when we go to Spark or in coming session somewhere, we can keep on using case classes as well. Got it right? Okay, good night to all of you. Happy weekend. See you.